Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 57 of chapter 18. Etasa sarva karmani
Cetasa sarvakarmani
mai sanyasya matparaha
Mai sanyasya matparaha
buddhi yogamupashritya
Buddhi yogam upashritya
chitta satatam bhava.
Macchitta satatam bhava.
Word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Chetasa,
Cetasa,
by intelligence.
by intelligence.
Sarva karmani,
Sarvakarmani,
all kinds of activities.
all kinds of activities.
Mai,
Mai,
unto me.
unto me.
Yasya,
Samyasya,
giving up.
giving up.
Matparaha,
Matparaha,
under my protection.
under my protection.
Buddhi yogam,
Buddhi yogam,
devotional activities.
devotional activities.
Upashritya,
Upashritya,
taking shelter of.
taking shelter of.
Mat chittaha,
Matchittaha,
in consciousness of me.
in consciousness of me.
Satatam,
Satatam,
24 hours a day.
24 hours a day.
Bhava,
Bhava,
just become.
just become.
Translation, in all activities,
In all activities,
depend upon me
just depend upon me
and work always under my protection.
and work always under my protection.
In such devotional service,
In such devotional service,
be fully conscious of me.
be fully conscious of me.
Prabhupada writes in the purport, when one acts in Krishna consciousness, he does not act as the master of the world. Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. A servant has no individual independence. He acts only on the order of the master. A servant acting on behalf of the Supreme Master is unaffected by profit and loss. He simply discharges his duty faithfully in terms of the order of the Lord. Now, one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna. But when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. The Sanskrit word matparaha is very important in this verse. It indicates that one has no goal in life save and except acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy Krishna. And while working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. I have been appointed to discharge this particular duty by Krishna. While acting in such a way, one naturally has to think of Krishna. This is perfect Krishna consciousness. One should, however, note that after doing something whimsically, he should not offer the result to the Supreme Lord. That sort of duty is not in the devotional service of Krishna consciousness. One should act according to the order of Krishna. This is a very important point. That order of Krishna comes through disciplic succession from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, the spiritual master's order should be taken as the prime duty of life. If one gets a bona fide spiritual master and acts according to his direction, then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed. So we'll read from another parampara. Yog means union and Buddhi Yog means having the intellect united with God. This union of the intellect occurs when it is firmly convinced that everything in existence has emanated from God, is connected to Him, and is meant for His satisfaction. Let us understand the position of the intellect in our internal system. Within our body is the subtle antaha karana, which we can also refer to colloquially as the heart or the etheric heart. In that sense, it's not a physical heart. Usually when we say our heart is broken, we are not referring to the physical heart. Or if we say our heart is overjoyed, we're not referencing to the physical heart. It's this etheric heart. It has 4 aspects to it. When it creates thoughts, we call it mana or mind. When it analyzes and decides, we call it buddhi or intellect. When it gets attached to an object or person, we call it chitta. When it identifies with the attributes of the body and becomes proud, we call it ahankar or ego. In this internal machinery, the position of the intellect is dominant. It makes decisions while the mind desires in accordance with those decisions, and the chitta gets attached to the objects of affection. For example, if the intellect decides that security is the most important thing in the world, then the mind always yearns for security in life. Throughout the day, we humans control our mind with the intellect. That is why anger flows downwards. The CEO shouts at the director. The director does not shout back because the intellect realizes that it will cost him the job. He vents his anger at the manager. The manager controls himself despite feeling vexed with the director, but finds release by shouting at the foreman. The foreman takes it all out at the worker. The worker purges his frustration on the wife. The wife shouts at the children. Very nicely put. In each case, the intellect decides where it is dangerous to get angry and where it does not have repercussions. The example illustrates that as human beings, our intellect possesses the ability to control the mind. Thus, we cultivate the intellect with proper knowledge and use it to guide the mind in the proper direction. This is what Sri Krishna means by Buddhi Yoga, developing a resolute decision of the intellect that all work and all things are meant for the pleasure of God. For such a person of resolute intellect, the chitta easily gets attached to God. So Prabhupada defined this Buddhi Yoga as Bhakti Yoga, non-different from Bhakti Yoga in the 2nd chapter itself. But why he defines Buddhi Yoga as Bhakti Yoga in the 2nd chapter is actually, the answer comes in this particular shloka, in shloka number 57. So Prabhupada brings forward what Krishna means by Buddhi Yoga in the 2nd chapter itself. He doesn't wait till you discover what is Buddhi Yoga in the 18th chapter. So Buddhi Yoga technically is non-different than Bhakti Yoga. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu writes, go beyond the shelter of the intelligence to the shelter of Krishna with your intelligence. Intelligence is vital for our spiritual growth. The Gita's flow reveals how the role of the intelligence evolves with the evolution of our spiritual understanding. Initially, in 2.49, the Gita asks us to take shelter of the intelligence. At this point, it hasn't yet revealed the ultimate object of devotion. Its focus is on differentiating between matter and spirit, and by extension, differentiating between actions for gratifying the body and actions for realizing the soul. As discerning such differences requires intelligence, the Gita recommends that we take shelter of the intelligence. So the 2nd chapter, the Lord's focus more was to distinguish between the body and the soul. So in that context, the Lord uses the term Buddhi Yoga. But it is only in this shloka we understand what the Lord means by Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga here in this particular shloka clearly comes across as Bhakti Yoga. Just before its conclusion, the Gita urges us to take shelter of Buddhi Yoga, the intelligence that nourishes spiritual connection, and to thereby become conscious of Krishna. This verse conveys the summit of the Gita's revelation. It goes beyond generic spiritual reality to the supreme spiritual reality, the all-attractive, all-loving, supreme person, Krishna. For becoming conscious of Krishna, far more potent than the logical analysis of the intelligence, is the spontaneous love of the heart. Why? Because love can propel our consciousness far more easily, quickly, and effectively than logic. What if we can't avail of the force of love because our devotion to Krishna is not yet mature? Then logical analysis can serve as a valuable, even indispensable intermediary shelter. So this is very beautifully put by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. First you can have faith in Krishna because somebody has told you that having faith in Krishna is the most right thing for you spiritually. You may not have faith in Krishna from the perspective of your heart. It takes a level of determination, consistency in sadhana, and following the instructions of the acharya. Over a period of time, you develop faith in the heart. First, faith is intellectual, then later on, it becomes faith as a matter of the heart. Of course, anytime we talk about a heart-to-heart connection with Krishna, that is much more intimate than an intellectual connection with Krishna. Hence, sometimes you have to take shelter of your intelligence before you reach the stage where you can take shelter of your heart's connection with Krishna. Whenever we feel agitated by temptation, we can use our scripturally guided intelligence to understand that Krishna is the source of all happiness. Whatever happiness we may get through anything else, we can get all that and more through him. With this intellectual understanding, we can determinedly take shelter of him and practice bhakti yoga. Gradually, as our heart becomes purified and increasingly attracted to Krishna, we no longer need intellectual analysis to take a shelter. We become spontaneously, constantly, joyously absorbed in him. So everything is a journey. It takes time to get to the stage. But the most important thing in the beginning stages of bhakti is to follow instructions. If you follow the acharya's instructions, then everything will go as per plan. Not to concoct anything on our own and think this is a better direction. Always trust that the acharyas have the best interest in their hearts for us, and therefore, according to that, they give guidance, like chanting 16 rounds, waking up early in the morning, hearing every day, doing some seva. All of this will gradually help you to get to that stage where your heart really gets connected to Krishna. So here the Lord is saying, in everything that you do, you depend on me. Initially, we may not get this realization. You still think you are the doer. So Krishna is saying, just depend on me. I'm there to protect you. And in such devotional service, the Lord is saying, be aware that I'm always there with you. I'm always there. I'm there to help you. I'm there to protect you. Therefore, Krishna's plan is always better than any plan that we can come up with. That's the final understanding here. And therefore, we also talk about complete surrender. When you realize that Krishna has the best interests in his heart for you.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.